The only thing standing between you and your goal is the story that you keep telling yourself every day. I know you've got the ideas, I know you've got the strategies, and I know you've done the courses, but there is still something holding you up from actually making passive income with digital products. And this is the number one mistake that I see a lot of female entrepreneurs holding themselves back and sabotaging their own success online. It's not marketing, it's not copywriting, it's not another shiny course that you need to buy. In this video, I'm gonna share with you the top limiting beliefs that keep holding you back and sabotaging the future that you are trying to create. And more importantly, I'll share with you how you can start breaking free of them and how I did it to overcome them. I see this all the time because I have tons of students. They have the skills, they have the knowledge, they have the experience, but they still don't feel good enough to start selling, to start helping people. They have brilliant ideas, they have a solid business plan in motion, but for some reason, it's still not happening. They start a project, but they don't finish it. They create a digital product, but when it comes to the time to start promoting, they start hiding and they start another project. And I know this because I have been this person. I've done all those things and I finally managed to break free from most of them, and I'm still working on it, a lot of this, but I want to I need sunglasses. Had to put the curtain down because the sun was too shiny. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because I've been exactly where you are, and all these stories are gonna come through, especially when you have a personal brand, when you have an online business. So if you have big plans for your business and you want to make money, you want to grow, you want to make an impact, you want to help people, this is the kind of work that you cannot avoid. And I know this because I've been there too. I had to face all these limiting beliefs myself, and I still working on some of them because it literally never ends. Spoiler alert. But I wanted to say to you that you are not alone on this journey. There are so many entrepreneurs, they face the same fears, and we can help each other. So you don't have to go through this alone. And the good news is that you can break free from them. Let's start with a very common one, which is I'm not good enough. When you start repeating that to yourself, your brain starts to look for evidence. So when you go on social media, you're gonna find people that are doing better than you. Oh, I'm not good enough to build this business. It has been done before. There are people better than me doing this. What's the point? I'm not cut out for this. No one starts as an expert. No business owner that you see online, that you see on Instagrams, they don't start as an expert. They don't start feeling confident. Every single one of them has doubted themselves before, especially in the beginning, because you have no evidence. But you need to build evidence. You need to show to your brain that you are already enough, because you are. You are worth it just being you. You are a magic being, you are unique, and your worth comes from there. It doesn't come from what people say about your work, how many followers you have on social media, how many friends you have. It doesn't come from outside circumstances. What is holding you back is not your lack of skill, is not your expertise, is this belief that you don't believe that you are good enough to help people yet. And I'm here to tell you that you are ready now. You are always ready to start helping people exactly where you are right now. You don't need to buy another course. You don't need to get a new certification. You don't need to prove to someone. You don't need to have 1,000 followers to start helping people. You can just help people. You need to change the narrative. Start telling another story. Start saying, I am enough. I am good enough. I can help people. And once you do that, repeat that every single day. I do have in my journal a list with all the great things that I did. So start celebrating every single achievement that you have. Start showing your brain the evidence that you are good, that you are ready. And when you train your brain like that, it's going to show you more and more evidence of it. And if you are someone who have the desire to start a business, to help people, to make an impact, but you're just waiting for the perfect time, it's never gonna happen. You just have to start with the resources you have. You just have to start and you get better in the process. Digital products are the most profitable, scalable, and fulfilling type of business. And it's damn right the hardest type of business because all your shit is gonna come to the surface and you cannot run from it. Because the moment that you start putting yourself out there, that you start creating content, that you start helping people, and when we don't get the results that we were expecting, we get frustrated. Everyone does. Every single entrepreneur, it happens to everyone. But when this happens, we start to make it about ourselves. We start thinking, oh, I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe this is not for me. I should just go back to my 9 to 5 and do that for the rest of my life until I die and always live a miserable life. You get to choose. You have the power and you can choose to take your life where you want it to go. Then we move to the second limiting belief that it's so common, and I'm 80% sure that you have been there as well. And is that place that you don't feel that it's good enough. You never feel like that product that you spend hours and hours planning, designing it, you never feel like it's good enough to launch it. That's when you start comparing yourself to others. That's when you start thinking, oh, there's no point of me launching this because someone else has done it better than me. So what's the point? But I want you to understand that perfectionism is your worst enemy into making passive income, because you're gonna have to make loads of things until one thing goes really well. No one starts by creating a viral product that goes viral on their first try. Even if you spend 2 years creating that product. If you wait until you have the perfect product, you're never gonna launch it and you're not gonna make the money that you're hoping to make. If you want to become good on anything, make a lot of pots. Let me explain, because once I heard this analogy, it made total sense for my brain. So basically, a pottery teacher split her class in 2 halves. The first half, she said, you will spend the entire semester studying pottery, planning, designing, and creating your perfect pot. At the end of the semester, there will be a competition to see whose pot is the best. To the other half, she said, you will spend your semester making lots of pots. Your grade will be based on the number of completed pots you finish. At the end of the semester, you also have the opportunity to enter your best pot into a competition. The first half of the class threw themselves into their research, planning, and design. Then they set about creating their own perfect pot for the competition. So they spent hours and hours, months creating this perfect pot. The second half of the class immediately grabbed their first bales of clay and started churning out their pots. They made big ones, small ones, simple ones, creative ones, and their muscles were hurting for weeks as they gained the strength needed to throw so many pots. At the end of the class, both halves were invited to enter their most perfect pot into the competition. Once the votes were counted, all the best pots came from the students that were tasked with quantity. The group that they had to build lots of pots. So that shows that the practice they gained made them significantly better potters than the planners on a quest of a single perfect pot. This story comes from the book Art and Fear. I never read this book, by the way. I just heard the story and it really stuck into my mind. And that was when I decided to really quantity over quality in the beginning. When you are starting out, quantity is really important because you need to get the reps done. You need to do it a lot of times, just like going to the gym. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get, the faster you do it, and the better results you get. When I started my Etsy shop, I remember I challenged myself to create one template a week, and that gave me no time to mess around, no time to be distracting myself, no time to be perfect because I was working full time as I was doing this. I managed to go through this challenge for a couple of months, but it wasn't sustainable for a long time. But it was absolutely essential in my journey because that's how I learned so many things. Every template that I created, I learned something new. The strategy to overcome this is to start shifting your focus from perfection to progress. Instead of asking yourself, is this perfect? Ask, is this helpful? Launch what you have, get feedback, keep improving. People need what you have right now. They don't need it 2 years from now. Now raise your hand if you ever said, I'm not an expert on anything, so why would people even listen to me? But here's the thing, being an expert doesn't mean that you need to know every single thing about one topic. In fact, that is impossible. It means that you know something or you experience something that can be valuable to someone else. You only need to be a few steps ahead from your audience to be able to help them. Start sharing what you know right now. Start with what you have and keep improving as you go. Right now, this one I hear all the time, and I always get messages like this. Oh, I want to start making passive income. I know this can change my life, but I just don't have the time right now. So you ever told yourself, oh, I don't have time for this, I'm so busy right now, I'm so overwhelmed, and you keep repeating this story every single day. And what this does is create anxiety, and magically your life becomes busier and busier. And the thing is, life is not gonna pause and wait for you to build your digital product. You need to set this as a priority if this is a priority for your life. The important things in our lives are the things that we make time for. And certainly, I'm not blind to the fact that there are some people that are in some stages on their lives that they are not able to focus on their businesses. For example, if you just had a baby or you had surgery or something like that, you're not able to do that. Totally understand it. But this is actually rare. I have students that have toddlers, they are the primary carers. I have students that work full time and they are still able to do these things. And yes, and everything does require a sacrifice. When I was building my business, I had to sacrifice some weekends going out with my friends. I was watching Netflix because I had a clear goal. It was one of my priorities. I knew I wanted the freedom. I wanted to live on my terms. I had to take action and I had to face these fears. I had to change my mindset, and that directly affected all my actions, which also affected my results. And that's why this is the first step. If you don't have a good mindset, if you are just feeding these limiting beliefs all the time, you are going to keep sabotaging yourself on your dream, on making passive income, on launching your product, on creating content. Until you actually take action and understand and become more aware and start changing the narrative, that's when you're gonna start seeing real results in your business. If you are someone who keeps repeating this, I don't have time, I'm so busy, I'm overwhelmed, just take one day and start writing every single thing that you do every hour of your day. It shows you where your time is going, even when we don't think we have a lot of time. When I was so shocked when I saw how many hours I was spending on my phone, scrolling on Instagram, just scrolling through stories, just watching people and not doing anything for my life. So you can usually find, even if it's just a few hours on the weekend, see if you can have at least the mornings free so you can work on your business and have some time for yourself. It's all about putting this at one of the top of your priorities, and you are gonna make the time to make it happen. So start small, even if it's just 30 minutes a day, even if it's just like when you are commuting, listening to a podcast, watching a video, all these counts. And that's gonna give you more freedom, the power of choice. And when you start getting those sales notifications, when you are traveling, when you are resting, you're gonna feel this in your heart. You're gonna feel so proud of yourself that you did those things, that you worked on yourself, that you didn't give up, and that you are setting yourself as an example, not just for your kids, but for your friends, for people around you, that it is possible. These limiting beliefs can be a massive roadblock to your success, so don't ignore them. Start working on them from today. Once you overcome them, once you do the work, the possibilities are endless. Now go ahead and go into the comments and tell me, what is the number one limiting belief that is stopping you from creating the future that you want? Share it below and let's support each other into overcoming them together. I'll see you on my next video. Bye!